And yes, I just came out from secondary school. I was the presiding officer in that election. That election has been adjudged up to today the freest and fairest election in the history of Nigeria. Mr. President, any Nigerian that googles internet, which election is the freest and fairest election in Nigeria, is the June 12th presidential election. Professor Humphrey Nwosu, a professor of political science from the prestigious University of Nigeria, a civil servant, before he was appointed in 1989, did his best, despite the pressure from Babangida government, despite the court order, Mr. President, allow me, despite the court order by Justice Ibeme that stopped the election, despite all the threats from the military cabal, the man still went ahead to conduct the freest and fairest election. Was it Professor Humphrey Nwosu that made Justice Saleh from Katangum Emirate from Bauchi to annul the election? Was it Justice Humphrey Nwosu, Professor Humphrey Nwosu that made the military cabal to throw Nigeria into confusion? It is highly unfair. One of my colleagues mentioned about the honor.
How was it going to remain, my brother said it anyway.
Is it because he belongs to a particular political party? Let us not distort facts. It's very disappointing that some of us should be distorting facts just because Professor Humphrey Nwosu is an Igbo man.
Thank you very much.
Allow this motion to speak.
Thank you, sir.
Arrest my case.
Thank you. Please, order, please.
Mr. President, Professor Humphrey Nwosu only made efforts as long as he did not announce the result, whether you are under duress or you are under anything. It cannot be called. It cannot. That election cannot be said that he has conducted a successful election. In view of this, sir, I want to say vehemently that I, Senator Cyril Fashu, representing the good and decent people of Ekiti North, having searched my conscience, I am against the prayer that it should be immortalized by naming INEC headquarters after him. Thank you. I so submit. I represent the people of Kogi State. There is this fact. In whatsoever we do, one day we are going to live here, we are going to leave the world, and we are going to be remembered by what we have done. If you do well, posterity will remember you for good. We are now judging or talking about Humphrey Nwosu. He has finished his course. Now it is left for his creator to judge him. Yes, he was here. He did his best. He conducted an election. He tried his best midway. Everything was truncated. And he was not courageous enough to speak out. There are others after him that also worked in INEC and did a lot of work there. One thing we cannot take away from Humphrey Nwosu is that he tried his best. But we need to be careful. It is the responsibility of the executive to name any structure after anybody. It is also the responsibility of the executive to give national awards to whomsoever they feel is deserving of it. And we know our president now. He was a factor, and he was part of those that struggled for the actualization of June 12th. He worked hard for it. He worked hard for it. President Obasanjo was there as president for 8 years. He did not name anything after Nwosu. nothing was mentioned about him. Even Yaradua was there. President Goodluck Jonathan was there. After Goodluck Jonathan, Buhari was there for 8 years. And now that
for the Secretary Generalship of the SDP in 1993, and we lost the election to Sule Lamido, who was the former governor of Jigawa State. After that, we had a lot of trouble selecting the vice presidential candidate. I was in the Kingibe faction, and we were able to defeat Atiku Abubakar to get Abiola to name Kingibe as the vice president in order to have a seamless election. We went through that process, and we knew we won the election. It was annulled. Everybody knew what happened, or what happens under the military. To accuse this late gentleman of not allowing the election, not announcing the election, I think is very, very ahistorical and uncharitable. Mr. President, even under duress, he was not even to have conducted the election in the first place. But he went ahead and conducted it against the military who appointed him. After the election results started coming out, and it was aware that Abiola won the election, Nwosu asked his Director of Legal Services, Malam Buhari Bello, who is still alive, he's my junior brother, to go to court. Buhari went to court, and he won in the court in the Federal High Court. The appeal, he went to the Court of Appeal. Like my statesman from Anambra, Senator Ume, said, they were afraid that the Court of Appeal is going to give INEC a favorable response. The military came and annulled that election and disbanded INEC. And at that time, my junior brother Buhari Bello lost his job also, together with Nwosu. Now, how come, with this historical narrative, some of us are alive, we are participants in that process. There are some people here who are talking, who have never been part of the process, and then you are coming out painting certain historical narratives which are wrong. Please, let's honor ourselves and uphold what is right and do the right thing. Thank you, Mr. President.
Now, see, this issue has generated a lot of interest, not just because of the personality involved. It is because INEC, being a very critical institution in the promotion, advancement of democracy, would naturally attract attention, either for good or bad. I want us to situate our debate in the context of national service and intellectual excellence, which Professor Humphrey Nwosu is supposed to exemplify. Nwosu was a professor of political science, someone who by training was supposed to deliver excellent election to Nigeria. Humphrey Nwosu was also appointed for national service. From these two backgrounds, he did not achieve any of them. They say to whom much is given, much is expected. A professor of political science heading INEC could not deliver result. That is how you can assess him. It doesn't matter whether the circumstances were positive or not. If it were not positive for him to do so, he would have resigned. He didn't resign, which means he stood out to do the job. So on that score, he did not succeed. Now, national service. When you are called to serve the country, what you are supposed to do is to go to every extent to defend and deliver your mandate. As far as we are concerned, this gentleman did not conduct himself properly enough to deserve any national recognition at this moment. He did not deliver.
Thank you. My colleagues, You see, we have a lot. We have
Because that you have called me. Something must be wrong.
change your name. It's an oversight.
Yeah, Mr. President, my name is Osita Ezunaso. I represent Imo West. I just want to draw the attention of the Secretariat to the fact that I'm one of the sponsors of this motion, and they wrote Imo North for me. It should be Imo West, not Imo North.
Secretariat, please take note.
Now, Mr.
Okay, the sponsor, that stands corrected.
Mr. President, it is important that we do not sit here to distort history. We are legislators, and we are representing the people. Take a census of Nigerians and ask them what they think about Professor Humphrey Nwosu. They will tell you he was a hero. So for us to sit here now and begin to distort history is not fair for our democracy. It's not even good for the country. Mr. President, I want to draw your attention to what happened on June 10. We're talking about June 12. Justice Ibeme, as early as 9:30 on June 10th, said there will be no election. And Professor Humphrey Nwosu tried to reach the head of state. He couldn't reach him. He couldn't reach the Attorney General. And there was an emergency meeting of National Defense and Security Council, which Professor Humphrey Nwosu audaciously attended uninvited and told them that the materials have been sent out and that he was ready for the election. Uninvited in a military council, he went there. That is courage of the highest order. And it was after he spoke that President Ibrahim Babangida have no choice than to ask him to conduct the election. Mr. President, we have human beings who are alive. Today, Mr. Boss Mustafa, the immediate past SDF, and late Mohamed Waziri, we are the SDP returning agents at the Convention Center. Yesterday, when this matter broke up, I had to call Boss Mustafa. I had to call him. I said, Boss Mustafa, what happened at the Collection Center? And he narrated to me how courageous Humphrey Nwosu was. And said, without Humphrey Nwosu's courage, you can't even talk about election. In fact, Buhari Bello, who was INEC legal director, was the one that was running in between Humphrey Nwosu and the NDSC. And Buhari Bello is still alive. He will testify to you how courageous Humphrey Nwosu was in that exercise. Mr. President, Senator...
Thank you. You have 1 second remaining. I gave you more time.
No, yes, please.
Your protest because you protested.
Yes,
so,
please.
So but your time is off. 1 second.
No, Adam Goshimole wanted to distort history. I won't let him do that. Humphrey Nwosu, in his book titled Laying the Foundation for Nigerian Democracy, laying the foundation for Nigerian democracy, my account of June 12th.
Thank you. Thank you. Your time is off.
Entire result.
Listen, Shuaib Afolabi. Ahead.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, a few months ago, this hallowed chamber celebrated the late Dr. Ogbonaya Onu. It was unanimous. On that occasion, I stood up and I spoke not just as a senator, I spoke as the secretary of Southwest Senators Caucus. And in fact, we regarded Ogbonaya Onu as somebody from Southwest. There was no controversy. There will be other eminent Nigerians that were brought here. We celebrated them in less than 5 minutes. There was no controversy. Today, I speak as the senator representing the memory of M.K. Abiola, and that we are even discussing this brings back the pain of the loss of an illustrious Nigerian from Ogun Central Senatorial District. To attempt to immortalize or honor anyone who was involved with the annulment of June 12th that led to the death of M.K. Abiola is to undermine the insufficient recognition that has been given to him. It is indeed to also set a very bad precedent and to also make it very clear. If Humphrey Nwosu were to come from Ogun Central, If indeed it was to come from Abeokuta, anyone who participated in the June 12 debacle, regardless of the part of the country, including Abeokuta, I will stand up to speak against such a person. And you also know that even people from Southwest who were accomplices in the June 12 saga, they have not been forgiven tomorrow. If any of them was brought here, I will speak against him. Therefore, this debate is unnecessary. This debate is trying to rewrite history, and we are sending to the people, to the younger people, that you can be celebrated if your courage failed you. You can be celebrated if you do common things uncommonly bad. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, the very best you can do, maybe just 1 minute honor, but to attempt to do anything further would be to rubbish the memory of M.K. Abiola and to add insult to the injury.
Thank you. Senator Orwell, on your...
A great historical event. One thing we must not allow to come in is sentiment. I'm not from the southeast, I'm not from the southwest, I'm a Nigerian. Humphrey Nwosu was a Nigerian. And at the time he worked, Nigeria was a very complex society, managed by very reckless, very ambitious, very dangerous military leaders. We knew all of them. They shot so many of their mates for no reason. And I'm sure shooting a civilian would be an ordinary event. We knew what happened at that point in time. I am not after getting him named, anything named after, against his name, or giving him a national honor. That is left for the government of the day. But that history must not be distorted. We have kids here, okay, they are gone, and they are listening, and they take this away. This is one of the highest, the most respected institutions in Nigeria, and so when we want to put facts, we put facts down for others to use. Humphrey Nwosu, to the best of my knowledge and from the functions he's performed, is a hero. Now, he established